2 incomes, careful budgeting, and decent credit, a modern family can do all the math right, only to sit down at the kitchen table and realize their monthly daycare bill is higher than their mortgage. This math problem hits millions of middle-class households across the country. Whether in a coastal tech hub or a Midwestern suburb, the financial pressure remains consistent. In many major cities, the baseline cost to secure full-time care for just one infant reliably crosses the $2,000 mark every single month. Carrying an expense that large right at the beginning of a career strips away the cash needed to save for a down payment or start compounding a retirement fund. The traditional timeline for financial stability breaks down under the weight of this single line item. This financial strain forces families to recalculate the value of their labor. They start running the numbers on a hidden career tax, comparing one partner's entire take-home pay directly against the monthly cost of the daycare center. When daycare fees consume 90 or 100% of that paycheck, the logical choice is to leave the workforce. Disproportionately, mothers step away from their jobs because paying for the privilege to work results in a net financial loss. Leaving the labor force stops the immediate bleeding, but it creates compounding secondary losses. It stalls salary growth, erases years of retirement contributions, and delays having a second child. Exorbitant costs act as an active repellent, pushing a highly capable demographic out of the economy entirely. If families are paying mortgage-level fees every month, common logic suggests the providers are highly profitable. But investigating the balance sheets of daycare centers reveals a different reality. To understand why daycares operate on razor-thin margins, we have to break down that $2,000 monthly fee. The largest expense comes from adult-to-child ratio mandates. A center must maintain high staffing levels by law, eating up roughly 60 to 70% of the total revenue. From there, the center pays for specialized commercial insurance, facility rent designed for young children, and safety licensing. By the end, the remaining profit margin is often a single-digit sliver. Because fixed operational costs are so high, centers struggle to pay competitive wages. Childcare professionals routinely earn less than entry-level retail workers. Massive amounts of cash enter the system from parents, yet both the consumers paying the bills and the labor doing the work remain trapped in financial scarcity. Economists classify this scenario as a market failure. Standard capitalist mechanisms of supply and demand are unable to fix this specific industry. A normal business would raise prices to increase margins. Daycares cannot do that, as their target demographic, young families, has no remaining budget capacity. A normal business might also cut operational costs. Daycares are restricted here as well. Safety regulations and staffing ratios are strictly mandated by law. Without the ability to increase revenue or cut overhead, centers are paralyzed. They cannot raise wages to attract staff, leading to severe worker shortages. The physical consequence of this paralysis is visible everywhere. Centers are forced to shut down, creating childcare deserts where finding reliable care is nearly impossible. It is an impossible equation. The cost of providing safe, regulated care is higher than what families can afford to pay out of pocket. The failure of individual daycare centers triggers ripple effects that travel directly into the national economy. Because young families funnel huge portions of their income toward childcare, they cut back on other spending. This pulls billions of dollars out of retail, travel, and local services. Furthermore, when parents drop out of the workforce, it exacerbates the broader corporate labor shortage. Businesses in unrelated sectors struggle to hire and retain talent, which stunts GDP growth. This financial drain spreads to the real estate market. The high cost of raising a toddler drains savings accounts, delaying a massive cohort of potential buyers from entering the housing market. The childcare crisis exerts a massive systemic drag directly on the national economy, suppressing consumer spending and slowing corporate growth. Failing to support working families today threatens the scale and capability of the next generation's workforce. Addressing this requires structural intervention. Whether through employer-subsidized care models or expanded public investment, shifting the financial burden away from isolated families is a mathematical necessity. Childcare functions as essential physical infrastructure, similar to roads or bridges. It is the framework required to keep the economy moving. Stabilizing this market is a mandatory prerequisite for the country's future economic growth. Do you think affordable childcare should be treated as a prioritized national infrastructure issue? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden economics shaping our lives.